Okay, we're going to reopen the meeting for hearing applicant. Is that the Southwood Street?
Yes, it's Southbridge Street Holdings.
Southwood Street Holdings, LLC, requesting modification to an approved site plan and special permit for multiple business use as allowed in section 3.2.6.11 of the Auburn zoning bylaws on property located at 619 Southbridge Street, Auburn, Mass. Map parcel 55, parcel 5. Okay, who have we got here?
Good evening. For the record, John Cusick with Bowler Engineering. We have a much simpler proposal for you right now. So essentially what we're looking to do is, my client's looking to essentially renovate the existing building on 619 Southbridge. It's been vacant for many years. I think the last was Amazing Furniture, if I'm not mistaken.
No, the last functioning business there was Ethan Allen.
Oh,
Amazing never
the
actually
sign
opened.
was still, okay, I thought that's what it was.
Yeah.
I saw the sign there. I didn't realize it came through. But in any event, it's been vacant for some time. So we're looking to essentially go in and reoccupy that. The developer is proposing to actually break the building into three uses. It's currently one large building now, about 18,000 square feet, if I'm not mistaken. He currently has a lease executed and ready to go, so he's under some significant time concerns to move forward with this, and he's close on the other two leases from what I understand. So the project is quite simply, the building is square right now. To get additional parking, that was one of the issues today, is that there's really no parking to support the building. Is looking to break out a portion of the building, about 750 square feet, to make it more inviting to come around the side. Right now it's a pretty big pinch point when you drive in there, and then to add some additional parking on that side of the building. There are some existing structures and paved areas on the side of the site. Those are getting demolished and taken away. The project actually results in a reduction in the pervious area because of this. It results in the parking being much closer to conforming. Currently it's nowhere near the conforming level that stands here today based on the size of the building. And then by breaking up the businesses, he's going to essentially redo the front of the building to make those storefronts nice and really viewable. It's more of a facade, essentially upgrade. But it's very simple application, just a slight bump out to this area over here to provide some parking to support those three uses. Driveway location stays the same. We really don't have any options to modify that. It is what it is. It's as far away from the ramp as it possibly could be. By way of the permitting, it is two permits, modification to an approved site plan. But because the building use is changing from one use to three, that does kick us into the need for a special permit for multiple businesses. I don't think it changes anything substantial, just short of the process. The parking is still the same as if it would be one building as opposed to three under the use category.
What is the what's the total parking spaces needed for 18,000 square feet?
It'd be about 85, if I'm not mistaken.
And how many parking spaces are you proposing?
Yeah, there's 25 today, and we're proposing 65.
And you said that the square footage requires 85?
That is correct.
Where are you going to come up with the other 25?
We've spoken with the building inspector about essentially as a non-conforming use today. We're bringing it closer into compliance, which his opinion wouldn't require any additional relief or permitting from him. There's additional area on the site over there. It was determined that we needed it, but again, I don't think it's needed to operationally support the building.
Well, based on your three uses or whatever, how many parking spaces do you come up with that you need?
Based on zoning or operational?
Zoning.
From zoning, it would be about 80, 85 based on that size building.
All right, how many are there?
Proposed 65, existing 25. So we're adding essentially 40 spaces to the same
By
size
taking
building.
out the two-story, the two homes?
Um,
Where are you putting the additional 40
Yeah, the
spaces?
spaces are essentially, by cutting back the building, right now it's a pinch point right in here, by cutting back the building, so we're essentially taking off that section, allows us to get some additional parking along here. It allows us to get essentially a 24-foot drive aisle to get emergency vehicles and good circulation through there. And then we're adding parking over on that side as well. So we're essentially double loading this side, getting some along the front, getting some along the rear. We're trying to work within the.
So you'll take down the homes and just grade it at
Absolutely.
this point?
Yeah.
They're up quite a bit higher.
Yeah, there's definitely a grade on the site. It's high here and kind of slopes down in this direction here.
What are the comments from the board on the parking spaces?
Parking spaces.
No, but you could have 3 huge businesses in there. I mean, 3,000 square feet, 5,000 square feet to 6,000 square feet per business.
Well, I think there's no parking along Southbridge Street that they would be infringing on, so I think if operationally it warranted more spaces, I would think that would be more of an operational challenge, marketing challenge. I think
There's plenty of land to put them in.
yeah, typically the impervious area isn't required, and especially in the grading in that area, maintain the trees and the green space and the buffer to the highway. Personally, I prefer to see it, only what's needed, but,
There's no butters.
right. And I don't see it creating a
What's
street
about
parking
22
issue.
spaces per business if you split them to 6,000? Do you know how he's splitting them or?
The lease in hand is I think it's a fitness operation. The other two, I believe, are retail operations. I don't know who.
What size,
Like a gym.
what amount, dividing the 18,000 square feet up, do you know what?
I would guess the gym would probably be about 10,000 or so, and the other ones would be maybe a 5 and a 3. I don't have that.
That'll use
exact
the
number.
most spaces probably.
Yeah, I know.
That's what it is, I mean, people
Yeah.
go into that.
The beauty of this particular project compared to some, I mean, sometimes you might come in where you're trying to squeeze a lot on a little lot, and you're asking for relief because you don't have the room to do that. We essentially have the room. We just don't think it's really needed to support our businesses that he's proposing. We think it'd be better left unpaved, landscape.
Well, I
avoid
think I
going
like
to
the
fill
idea of
over here.
leaving it unpaved, and if you see fit within your business needs that they have to,
Yeah.
it's gonna make it whether it works for
there.
you or it doesn't.
Well, that's exactly it. We certainly
One thing
wouldn't want to
people don't want
open
is
it.
to come in, I mean, you're gonna self-police it, so to speak.
Yeah, if we didn't have enough
If
parking,
you-
we've got the ability
we-
to add it.
You've got the ability to add it.
That's correct.
It's not, even on all sides, but it
Was
is.
there something going on? Remember
About,
about the building? They wanted the group that were going in there, he wanted them to do something. I don't remember what it was.
I think it was, he was requesting something and they didn't wanna do it.
when are we talking about?
Oh,
Oh.
this was 6, 8.
Well, when that other group went in there, not the people that didn't really have an occupancy permit.
That was amazing furniture.
Yeah, they never opened, and that was, I believe, actually after Donnie left.
Was it?
It was after he retired. And the other inspector wanted him to do something. It had to do with, they had an architect who drew some plans. They wanted to alter the plans. They didn't want to go back and pay the architect. And I think that we're also dealing with a very different situation here. The building's been vacant for,
Long time.
a sawbuck at least. So the new owners are going to have to come in. They're dividing the building, so they have some significant separation to do. So included in that is going to have to be some significant renovation. If I'm not mistaken, looking at the plan, it looks like if you can see the front doors along the front of the building, the little swishies. It looks like the space is divided relatively evenly. I would guess that if you were to draw a line, equidistant between each of those doors, you're looking at 3 spaces. And to the parking issue, I think that, and I think that you guys have all sort of hit on it, that businesses don't often come in and say, I want to put less parking if they think it's going to hurt them, or if they think that it's really, we saw across the street, I know, Ronnie, you were the only one on the board at the time, but when Lowe's wanted to go across the street, the zoning said they needed almost 1,000 spaces. They went and they cut that almost in half with a special permit from the zoning board. So it's not unheard of for a business to say, really, that's a lot of parking. We don't need that much.
They do have the area to increase it if they have to.
Yeah, if it does become a problem, we can certainly address it.
Have you looked at how many spaces you could get on the upper area?
I haven't, but I can certainly speak with great confidence that we can absolutely get the sufficient amount plus more. There's plenty of room there.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I think the limiting factor is grade.
There's
Yeah.
there's plenty.
And how the drainage would work and all of that.
Well, even with Lowe's, like you said, I mean, they're the ones that would not want less than they
Yeah.
fill them up by any means.
I mean,
If you go up to Home Depot, you can look and there's might be 1,000 spaces, but
Yeah.
there's never more than 500 filled.
And those kind of businesses pay people a lot of money to figure out exactly how many spaces they're going to need.
Even Lowe's in Westboro, you never see that parking lot filled. It's
No.
always-
What, so what do we have to do now? There are two separate votes taken on this?
Well, the site plan modification is what it is. It's a very minor modification. It's the addition of that row of parking to the westerly side and the removal of that corner of the building. So it would be a motion, conditions, and either approval or denial. The special permit is the same thing. It's a little bit even easier, I guess, because you're approving use as opposed to physicality. You're saying that they can have the 3 businesses. It meets sort of the criteria. It's in the highway business zone. They're providing parking. They're not causing a detriment. And then, that's a motion conditions. And
That requires 4.
correct. It's a majority minus 1.
Okay, who wants to make the motion
sorry,
to do
that's
what,
supermajority.
unless there's any other discussion? Do you have a problem at all, or?
No, I was gonna.
Do you,
I'll make the
Wendy?
motion.
I'll
Okay,
second it.
Ronnie, okay, so you're all set, so somebody make a motion,
Make the motion to approve with the standard conditions.
the
What are we
modification.
approving? Which one?
Plan modification.
The plan modification.
I'll second it.
So you said standard conditions. That's construction hours.
8 to 5.
From 8 to noon on Saturday. Then,
Sundays, no holidays.
yep. So we're talking all boards and commissions. Built to plan. Anything else?
Again, I don't think there's a lighting issue or anything like that there. There just isn't any people.
Again, I just want to make sure that I get it all so that you have it in the decision. All right, so those 3 conditions.
And then we need a
And that you motion and seconded and then you the vote.
Okay, second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. To vote. Now, the next motion that we're gonna bring forth is for a special permit. I have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve a special permit for the applicant within a highway business for multiple use with whatever restrictions we want to use.
second.
All the same.
The same 3
Same.
conditions.
Yeah.
3 conditions, and just for in the minutes, Tracy, that we'll assume that you'll modify the packet if you need it on your own.
Yeah, to your point, it would be self-policing. We wouldn't want to turn people away if they wasn't supposed to park.
Okay, now we have a second to that.
Second.
Jonathan seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's a vote.
Thank you all for your time.
Good luck. Make it work.
Whatever they
We'll write the
make it.
decision. They'll sign it on the 13th of August.
Yeah,
You
problem,
guys will
right.
get it sometime after that.
But I need to-
No, it gets written between now and then. They sign it on the 13th. That's the next time they're on together. As with everything,
Don't put it near my
you
stuff.
have the right to proceed.
You know what?
Everything you do is at your own peril. If someone, all of the people here in opposition were to appeal you, then you're in your own boat.
Forward with,
You can move forward with all of your process. Everything you do is at your own peril. So if you were to get an appeal, that's a problem that you guys will have to deal with.
it gets signed on the 13th, and then you've got the appeal.
Then it gets recorded and it's at 20 days.
Okay, so she got the building.
We can't cut him until after.
Yeah, I mean, if Mike has questions, he can call me.
Yeah, no, understood completely. Thank you.
Okay, are we ready? We now have a hearing, a 7:30 PM hearing for the applicant Herb Chambers on Prospect Street, LLC, requesting a site plan review for the proposed automotive sales inventory lot and service center as allowed in section 3.2.6.3 and 4.3.5.1 of the Auburn zoning bylaws on the property located at 20 Prospect Street, Auburn, Mass., map parcel 60, parcel 8. Okay, we have Larry Broder here, and we have engineer here.
Right. Mike Andrew from Graves Engineering.
Mike,
Thank you.
pleasure.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We were last here on the 6th of June, and at that time we went over some site plan modifications and had some discussions about having a peer review done on the traffic. The peer review report is in on the traffic. It's a short, if you will, 3 or 4 page letter. We answered some questions at the last hearing on what exactly was going to be at the site, how many bays were going to be there, which is approximately 30. We hadn't had feedback from Mass DOT on the modified design for the curb cut access off of Route 20. We have had it at this point in time. There was a limited traffic report that was presented, that was provided by the petitioner, and the VHB review was supposed to be based on that. That's in. Basically, that VHB report says that the traffic information provided by the applicant was professionally prepared and generally accurate, that the traffic volumes that were utilized were reasonable, that the land use classification that was utilized as a car care center with a new car automobile sales yard was the most conservative and an acceptable method to determine trip generation, that the intersection capacity analysis determined that there was not going to be significant impact on the Route 20 Prospect Street intersection, that if access was going to be allowed from Route 20 left-hand turn lane into the site, that certain improvements had to be made to the Route 20 Washington Street, and VHB also made comments on catch basins in the driveway areas that should be addressed. And they made a comment that the Prospect Street turn lane may not be needed. They didn't use that language. Their language was different than that, but they questioned why it was there. And it says it's not clear why this turnout lane is being proposed or if it's needed. So what's happened in the intervening period of time with Mass DOT, and Mike's going to go show you on the plans what happened. Mass DOT has indicated that they will approve a left-hand turn in from Route 20 into the site for car carriers. Okay, there are certain things that need to be done to Route 20. Mike has prepared a plan which Mass DOT has seen, and why don't you show what we're going to do there? That you should.
So, in the weeks since the last meeting, we've been working closely both with Mass DOT and DPW regarding the 2 entrances. The Route 20 entrances, as Larry mentioned, has been modified, widened some. The radiuses have been enlarged. channelization island has been enlarged. And one of the caveats of Mass DOT allowing left turns into the site is to have this turning lane be constructed. And this would be in a current hatched area. There's now a turning lane for left turns on the Prospect. Before that is a hatched out area, so we're actually able to fit our turning lane within that area. So Mass DOT was acceptable to that. So that change you'll see on the final plans. On Prospect Street, you'll notice that turning lane was removed. That was done at the suggestion of DPW as well. We've modified this entrance to have smaller radiuses with vertical curbing to discourage truck traffic from using that as an entrance. As we said from the start, we're proposing that this is only going to be used for vehicles, passenger vehicles, not car carriers. In general, most of the traffic will be down Prospect Street towards Route 20. So those are the two changes since the last meeting that we've been working on. The site itself, nothing's changed since the last time you've seen it. You can certainly answer any questions you might have on the plans themselves or any of the comments that we've been working on since the last meeting.
All right. Comments from the board first, and then we'll get comments from the abutters.
Is there any reason, what exactly you're gonna do with the Prospect Street entrance and exit?
Prospect Street entrance is going to remain in the same location that it was been proposed from the beginning. 24 foot wide driveway with roundings, typical driveway entrance for any site. That will be signed. There'll be no test drive vehicles turning right up Prospect into that neighborhood.
How do you prevent that?
There'll be signage right here at the entrance.
That's it.
No
They'll tell their employees that
The
they're not
sign
instructed
is
to do that as
basically
well.
useless, doesn't do anything.
Right, but Herb Chambers will tell their employees they're not allowed to
That'll mean nothing
test
either.
drives there.
Well, there's people in the car with them. There's an employee in the car with them.
Yeah, they don't let anyone out by themselves anymore.
Right.
People steal the cars.
Well, I'm just gonna say up front, I think I'm gonna be opposed to any entrance or exit on Prospect Street unless it's for emergency vehicles only and chained with a key for the fire or police or whoever might have to get in there. That's, I'm only one guy. You spoke about it before, apparently.
My understanding from the last meeting was that we discussed limiting the truck traffic onto that road due to concerns with DPW. I don't remember a limitation to just emergency vehicles.
If I could just add one thing to that. I'm sorry. The site requires a second means of egress, not only for exactly for emergency vehicles, and it's never recommended that that be gated for any purpose. It's defeating the purpose of having that free access. We've already said we're restricting, as you mentioned, truck traffic is not going to be using Prospect Street at all. Mass DOT is allowed.
How many feet exactly is it? Well, exactly. From Route 20 to the beginning of that entrance.
This property line from here to here
No,
is...
not there.
I'm
to the beginning.
going to get to it. That's 428 feet, so I'm going to guess from here to that driveway is somewhere 375-ish.
380, yeah.
Ronnie, that's only as long as my driveway up Route 20. So that's not a long way. That's a pretty short distance from Route 20. So as far as hurting the people further up on Prospect Street, if that's for car use only, that's not like it's halfway up the hill. That's only a very short distance.
I think it would have to be open also in case there was an accident, so that you couldn't use the exit on Southbridge, on Washington Street, because you have to have some way to get out of the lot.
I don't like exits on secondary roads myself. I never have, and it inevitably, depending on what project it is, can create problems. But you know.
I think though, first of all, in this case, we've been consistently discussing having that exit route there. In addition, I think the traffic report didn't really show any major negative impacts to the neighborhood, and it's a highway business zone through that area, and up along that street as well. So I think the use is
It's highway
certainly
business
consistent.
because they had frontage on Route 20, not because they had anything on Prospect Street.
No, but I think you understand that, first of all, the highway business zone crosses Prospect Street, at least
It has
the majority of
depth
the
going
way
up
there.
Prospect Street, but
Right.
that's not why it was given highway business designation.
I think I'd be more against it if it was on the high end of Prospect Street or 800 to 1,000 feet up Prospect Street, but 300 plus feet. I mean, that's halfway up your driveway. You know, I mean, it's not. Again, go ahead.
Through the chair, also on the crash data, it said that you should review the project to see if there's anything you can incorporate, improvements that might address the safety issues. That is a really high crash location. And was wondering if you had any plans to address those concerns as well.
We just received this letter today, so we only had a chance to review it. I think they suggested it would be nice if something were done. They didn't suggest anything specific. Mass DOT hasn't said anything about crash data at the intersection, or I'm looking for improvements in that area. So,
It is a high crash cluster there, though.
Are they talking about
You
Appleton
can't
Road,
see
or are they
that
talking
no,
about Prospect
and
Street?
20, yeah. And I can't see that could be improving.
There was no suggestion other than the comment,
Mhm.
which didn't contain
I
any
just-
meat to it.
Just asking the
Yeah.
question if,
Yeah.
you know, it's something that you're going to be seriously taking a look at.
Well,
Response.
They also said earlier in this that everything functions the way it should function and won't be substantially impacted, which makes it difficult to, there's got to be more meat on that for their comment to us to be able to actually feedback something if there is anything appropriate to feed back to them. But
Adam, did you hear any comments regarding any part of this project from the town engineer or Joanne or?
I did speak to the town engineer late this afternoon, and he basically, there is a letter that
I read that.
Joanna sent over today,
Mhm.
and he basically reiterated that that is their stance. They're generally okay with it. They prefer the removal of the turn lane on Prospect Street. He felt that it didn't add any benefit to the function of Prospect Street and actually impacted the rural character of it, and he felt that it caused operational issues for the DPW.
You're talking
as far as
about the
plowing.
lane, the.
Yeah, the
extra
deceleration.
lane, deceleration.
Yeah,
All right.
he said that with the removal of truck traffic on Prospect Street, and if it's only being used for passenger vehicles, the deceleration lane was actually a detriment to the function and operation of Prospect Street, especially plowing in the winters.
So the town engineer and Joanne are okay with the way the project is designed now?
That is my understanding, especially since final design of the entrance, the turn lane is going to have to come through DOT because it's on their roads. The only thing that he did caution was on the sidewalk, and he was questioning whether or not it had been pulled back onto the applicant's property or not. I know that there was some discussion of that in DOT and whether or not you were going to be able to do it, whether it was going to require a bridge, and then getting into having some sort of written recorded declaration of maintenance from Herb Chambers so that in the future DOT doesn't come after the town to maintain it because we approved a project that allowed it on town property and they don't get into that issue. So that would be the only real meat to the letter.
Yep, if I can just add to that. This doesn't reflect what the sidewalk would be. This is the previous proposal. We've just done some additional survey yesterday to cover the area that wasn't on this plan, and through Mass DOT conversations, the sidewalk is going to extend in the Route 20 right-of-way at the back of the curb from the driveway from the existing Toyota dealership all the way up to the crosswalk. at Prospect. So if they're agreeable to that, again with the agreement that Herb Chambers will maintain it, which is agreed to.
Okay, one other thing. Oh, go ahead, Cindy. Go ahead.
Just getting back to, you know, the intersection as it stands, and I know myself coming across up to Prospect Street and making that left onto Route 20 to go up to BJ's, people coming down that hill have a tendency to come down at a great rate of speed, and I'm just wondering if that's where DOT is, if there's been any comments about having a dedicated left arrow for that first part of that light, and vice versa coming down the hill onto Route 20. You know, because currently it's just whoever's, you know, whoever gets there first, and
DHB talks about the increased speed coming down just because of the angle.
exactly.
You coming down Route 20 you're talking?
Coming down,
Yeah, I
well,
mean,
coming down Prospect Street across Route 20 and trying to make those, negotiate those turns at that intersection, but there's no requirement there at all from Mass DOT when they reviewed.
they haven't made any comments to that on
No
us.
comments
That's
at all.
None
Shocking.
outside
whatsoever.
of this project,
Yeah.
it seems.
So you're talking dedicated left from Prospect
Well,
onto
at
20?
least with the light, yeah, left onto Route 20 or coming down Prospect, the left onto Route 20.
My guess
So-
is that it's not meeting the warrant.
Pardon?
It's not meeting the 24-hour warrant, which is why they won't do the protected left off of Prospect. Because there's a protected left from the
Yes.
Plaza
on
side of-
20.
well, there's both lefts on 20 are protected.
On
Going
20
east,
off Prospect?
going east and west.
But the coming across Prospect Street, across Route 20, there
Yeah,
is
correct.
nothing,
I
nothing
think,
there.
but coming, is it not protected coming from 12?
No, from going on Prospect off of 12 towards to go up the
Left
hill.
toward BJ's, yeah.
Oh,
and
that's
take
okay.
a left, that's not protected.
That's not protected.
Not
No.
protected.
Okay.
And that's really where the concern is, because if you're going to increase that traffic coming down Prospect Street across Route 20, there's some real concern there. But, okay,
They've-
if Mass DOT is not making comments on it, then, you know.
Okay, now, we got customers out there and the people out there want to make comments on this. We would like to get them up here.
Anyone have comments?
Citizens' comments,
Oh, on that driveway?
yes, on anything to do
I'm
with this
okay with
project.
Oh,
You can comment on anything you want on this.
I do not want a wall built between the parking lot and our house. You know what I mean?
Fence.
I'm fine with the landscape. Someone had mentioned they want a wall built.
Up on the top, up on the, we'll show you, we'll show you.
And I'm fine with this.
Through the chair, there was a comment made by another abutter who's
Right.
not here tonight,
He's not
further
here.
up the street, that he would like to see a fence along the top of the
Right.
slope.
Mhm.
Now we're proposing some screening vegetation here instead, and I think Mr. Grady's supporting that and saying he would not like to see a fence there.
Okay,
So the
So-
wall is gone.
Another
So
There was,
you-
there was
you're-
never a fence or.
you're happy with their proposal of what they're doing?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I
I
think
wanna
the
make
problem
sure.
on 20 for traffic though,
Oh.
sorry, is people running that light on 20. More than the people coming down the hill. I know they go fast, but
They all run it.
they run that light coming
you know
eastbound from the
something,
west all the
Every one of
time.
those
There's not
lights.
much,
Without
So that's a
enforcement.
tough,
Yeah.
there's not much we can do about that.
Right,
I wish there,
I mean-
I wish there was.
yeah.
So the sight line at the very bottom is ample for people, so they can see if we're coming.
Well, sometimes
No.
there's vegetation there now. We
Yeah.
need to
That's,
call
but
it
my
a
question
clip it.
is,
Cannot
when
see.
this is completed,
Yep.
that would be, it'll be a
Is
clear.
the, which side of the intersection is the vegetation on? The Herb Chambers side
Coming
or the
down
opposite side?
Prospect, it's on the Herb Chambers
Okay,
side.
And that's
so
where they
this
go.
will eliminate a fair amount of that.
People from the other side, they can see those people running the
Mhm.
light, so they have an advantage.
Right. It's not funny.
That's gonna
I already got
improve the
told.
sight line
Yeah, she-
coming out of
yes.
Prospect.
We all, a lot of people in
There.
Prospect.
This whole
Street
corner is
have
gonna be
hit.
cleared.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
I never pull out of Millbury Street when the light turns green.
Is there any other citizens' comments regarding this project?
Go ahead.
I do like the idea of making that side street on Prospect for emergencies, if need be. so that there would be less traffic there. Less traffic?
Well,
How much traffic do you anticipate going out onto Prospect Street?
It's gonna be a lot.
You think?
It's gonna be a lot. When the other car dealerships
Yeah.
went down South Street,
Go
several
ahead.
people complained they would, can I finish first? Several people went down, South Street and several neighbors complained to stop that from happening because of the amount of, people
Traffic.
testing vehicles and going up there.
It
Go ahead.
would be a minimal amount of traffic. In fact, if you look at Appleton at any time, we have an exit over there that's been open now. And we're 50 feet away from the light, and there's never a line of traffic at the light. It's not like a supermarket. We don't have people coming and going all the time. It's,
Through the chair, is your concern people turning left and passing in front of your house, or just the general
Well,
traffic using
I-
the exit?
I'm sure they'll be turning in my driveway.
Well, and I guess
You know, and they're turning in my driveway now,
We have a circular drive, so when I'm off, I park in it. So
so that
I
they
don't
all
mind
come
if they
through.
turn around, I just don't like them coming all the way.
all the
through.
way up to the house.
And trucks do that too.
Oh, wow.
And I guess what the board can do is they can place the condition that all turns out of that onto Prospect Street turn left. And that's, you know, similar to the sign, that's not going to stop anything, but it gives the board the ability to enforce it through zoning and come down and have the zoning enforcement officer tell the Herb Chambers Corporation, you know, this is a condition, you need to not do that. That's not going to stop people coming up Prospect and turning into your driveway, which is an unfortunate condition of being the first driveway on the street. And having the circular driveway probably makes it all the more inviting, especially for a truck. But it at least would put the applicant on notice that traffic should be going left towards the light. They shouldn't be driving up through that neighborhood. And again, it becomes an enforcement issue, and we're limited as far as our ability to do enforcement on issues like this because it's a matter of having to actually catch someone doing it. But it does give the board some teeth in the future, and you know, I don't want to minimize it and make you
Well,
feel like
that's why I'm
there's...
saying it, because we saw from the past that
Yeah.
it didn't work. So we should correct it now.
So
Well-
is there a main driveway, a main entrance?
Yeah, there is an entrance on Route
Not
20.
just for trucks?
No, that's for everybody, I would imagine.
Yes.
Yeah.
we would hope that the only traffic from that lot that would exit onto Prospect Street would be exiting. So in other words, they come out of the lot and make a left turn to get down to Route 20. Of course you can't. There's no way to police that. But the main entrance is on Route 20. Main entrance and exit.
And, you know,
If you need 2 points of egress, make 2 entrances on Route 20.
they can't because they'd be too close to they'd be too close to the signalized
Maybe you
intersection.
can't do the site.
I mean, I think that's a tenuous argument.
Well,
You know, we always say yes.
okay, around the robin again. What,
I think in the
we need more input.
Sure. Well, I think in the last meeting that we had, we discussed traffic impacts and especially wanted to see DOT approval of the site. We also wanted to see a limitation on the truck traffic on Prospect Street. I think they've accommodated both of those. I think they accommodated the drainage issues. I think the neighbors are happy with all of the site improvements. I think it's in an appropriate zone as far as highway business goes. I think as far as uses for that site go, for a highway business zone, this is a pretty low impact use as opposed to what else could be proposed on that site. So I think they've done everything we asked.
I think signage, if this is going to be allowed, I think there's got to be a fair amount of signage, not only leaving the premises, but coming up the street to indicate what's going on. In other words, Herb Chambers entrance, exit, no trucks allowed. I mean, there's got to be signage.
Yeah, through the chair, well, we imagine there'll be a business sign at that entrance as well, like there usually is at every entrance to the dealership. There'll be a main one here as well,
Yeah.
permanent later.
I think you also want to be careful with signage because you want to keep the rural character, and that's been a big discussion about Prospect Street in general. So the more signs you put, the less rural character they have. One of the discussions I had with the DPW director was on this entrance on Prospect Street and the radius of the curbs, the fact that they're vertical granite, the fact that it's a 24-foot entrance. He put down a 40-foot truck pattern, and he said the truck would have to swing way into the left lane to be able to get it onto the site. I believe car carriers now are in the 52 to 55 foot length, so they may not even be able to make that turn.
Regardless of whether they swung over or not.
Correct. So the first driver who decides, oh, watch this, I'm going to use that light, and tries to do it, is going to end up in a world of hurt.
Well, my concern wasn't for car carriers trying to go.
No. I know that that's not your concern.
Your concern was for general traffic in cars and go-karts.
I guess I was speaking more to the addition of no trucks signage and that kind of stuff. I agree that there should be, some sort of directional signage on this being an entrance. I personally think that it's difficult to save rural character on the entrance and the width of the road, and then throw up a bunch of business signs of you can't do this, this is where you come in, this is where you go out, this is the business. I think there's a way to integrate that all into a single sign and then keep some of the other signage on the site.
Paul?
We get the trucks in, okay, off of 20, all right, and they're going to unload somewhere in there, probably along that road. What, they're going to unload way up here?
Most likely.
All right, they can turn around and get back out?
Yep.
There's enough, okay, around the
That's
end
where
there?
these large hatch areas here.
Okay, yeah.
The trucks can swing.
Swing around it?
Around that.
Okay, and then get back out, all
Yes.
right.
Do you have a plan that shows that?
Not as part of
Show the route that they're gonna go out once they get up in the back and unload.
Yeah,
Same way they came in, down.
down there and out,
Yeah.
okay. So you got them in and you got them out, okay? That's good. Getting them out's good.
Okay, let's get some idea now, like this is a jury room. Okay. So in other words, you're okay with the project the way it stands now, with the exit on Prospect Street and the entrance on Route 20? And Paul, you're okay with that?
Yeah. The only thing that I was concerned is they're gonna try to get the trailer trucks out the exit on Prospect Street, and they're not gonna do that.
No.
Larry would never be able to come before us again.
It looks
And
good.
Mr. Brooks, I take it that you're totally against that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, at least we know how you feel. And Wendy?
I think they've done everything we've asked them to do, and with that left turn sign only.
So it doesn't matter how I vote, Mr. Brooks? It's three to whatever. Okay, who wants to make a motion?
Make a motion to approve with standard conditions.
Can I ask for an additional condition that they provide a plan that shows the movement of the car carrier through the site,
Yep.
just so there isn't an issue in the future where, oh, we can't do it, and we can say, well, then you need a new driver because they've provided us with proof that you can do it.
Right. Sure.
Okay, I'll second it with that additional condition.
Okay, so
And with both the condition, you said no fence and
Right,
keeping
there-
greenery.
There's no fence proposed.
Okay, I thought you.
that's what he
Okay,
said. He
changed
didn't want it, he changed it.
Great.
So
Can we go
he
back
was
to
okay.
standard conditions very quickly? So we've got built to the plan, abide all boards and commissions, construction hours. What are we setting for construction hours? They're not a standard hour that we do. It's adjacent to a residential area. Generally, those are 8:30 to 4, with a 9 to 12 or an 8:30 to 12 on Saturday. So,
Yeah.
is that what
Yeah.
the board's thinking? 8:30 to 4?
Yeah.
Are we looking 8 to 4?
The construction hours, 8:30, instead of starting at 7?
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
How long do you expect a project like this one started is gonna take to complete?
You have an estimate?
I was just checking with Mr. Borlucci if he had any input from contractors yet. Generally, something like this, we could anticipate, in the order of 9 months to construct.
When would you start?
I guess as soon as possible, if we get approval tonight.
All right, we're back to a motion and a second. It's been seconded. Okay.
We've got all the conditions.
Yep, there's 4 conditions.
Adam, what did you have the lighting conditions and the lights going on and off?
I don't have anything because it wasn't requested to be put in. You could ask the person who made the motion to amend it if you have a condition that you'd like to attach to
I
lighting.
thought we said we wanted them to be off at a certain time. We were gonna make sure we had it there this time. Security lights only after, so.
And there's always been zero lighting at the
At the
perimeter.
property line, that's what's required. But I thought we talked about this.
Well, through the chair, I think we did a long time ago.
Yeah.
The security lights would go on at the 9-ish, 10-ish, whatever.
Yeah.
I'd be
We
happy
have to be
to,
specific.
Yeah, you know,
be happy to amend the motion to include a condition for security lighting at 10 p.m.
What? Okay. I was gonna say, what are the hours of the dealership?
I think that was
We
discussion.
usually stay open until around 9
So an
So,
hour
so
after
yeah,
the
10 gives
employees
time
leave,
for the
yeah.
employees to leave.
And what about lighting spilling over into the abutters?
we already.
I think we saw the lighting.
There was
Yeah,
zero
there's a
lighting.
photometric
Zero
plan.
LED, yeah.
Do those, excuse me, do those lights make any noise, humming or anything?
Are you gonna use LEDs or are you gonna use,
Probably what percent we use.
We don't put mosquito zappers in.
I don't want any noise. I don't want any lights either, but.
is there a re-second on the amended motion?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
We have 4 for and 1 against.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I don't know. This one
So you're not gonna be another meeting?
I got it, I mean, like 3 o'clock.
Okay, we're gonna sign some.
Yeah, there's some approvals to sign, and I've got a Form A here that came in today. And,
Vacation.
yeah, you don't have your June 11th minutes yet.
Oh, okay.
It's also that time of year.
I think Paul would be great for that.
I nominate Ronnie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I unnominated.
You'd have to know how to read and write to do that.
Well, I wouldn't sign it yet because you haven't talked about it or decided if you want to sign it yet.
All right.
I mean, you certainly can if you're willing to just start signing stuff. I got a check that I can get a signature on from you.
Okay, send it over.
As long as it's
I'll
on
make
your
it-
account.
I'll make it out to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as long as it's from his account, we have cash.
What was this, an A&R?
Yeah. You can you can do this, the A&R, you can do the signatures on
Top
the
of hill
approvals.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
and they're taking a lot and cutting off a non-buildable lot as a way to prevent someone from building a house directly across the street from the home that's across the way.
Pretty clever.
So because it's not buildable, they're leaving a conforming lot. There's case law that says that they can do that as long as the board is aware that it's not a buildable lot.
I have no problem signing that one. What, okay.
Yeah. Why couldn't it be a building lot? I don't-
Because it doesn't have 20,000 square feet.
Oh, it's,
It's a residence
Residential
B.
B.
Yeah.
What's it date today?
Today's the 23rd.
Look at that. I wonder what Tampa Bay's doing to the Red Sox right now.
Thank you.
So you come over right from, after, when you get back.
Yep.
Paul,
Can we started?
can we sign these again? You can't sign those.
Yeah.
Okay.
You weren't here.
First time.
Okay.
Kilburn, sounds so much like Kilburn.
White out might be less painful.
Yeah, don't do it up.
Can we sign them again? Paul signed, and he didn't vote.
Ah.
Glad I didn't sign that.
I don't know.
Well, that you can sign. You're here tonight.
Now you should.
Sign all of it, right?
Yes. Actually, we'll sign 4 of the paper ones.
So we're signing this, right?
Yes.
Well, we're not signing. There we go.
While we're signing, it's that time of year again for delegates to the
Yeah.
Central Mass Regional Planning Commission.
I'm up for it again.
Ooh. Something to get out of the house, huh, kid?
Yeah, that's a great night out. Yeah.
Are you up for it again there? Young buck?
Happily. Maybe have some straws? No, I'm good.
Get me to sign it again.
Sign them all.
Thank you, sir.
Jim, have a good time.
Ninja plan.
Yep. Last one.
Are there laws regulating things like this?
You gotta stay classy.
So we do a nomination and vote for that, or nominate John Weaver to serve on the CMRPC as a delegate?
I'll second it.
And it's technically an appointment, so.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right back at me?
I nominate Wendy Steinhuber.
Second.
I'll second it.
And
All in
in
favor?
attendance.
Aye.
Notice how quickly Paul seconded both of them?
Before they change
Not
their
me.
minds.
Last time I got sucked in, it was 10 years.
If you'd prefer to.
Okay, now there's no A and Rs, no.
That, well, yeah, just the one A and
Just that
R.
one.
Okay,
That came in today.
but that's, we signed that.
Correct.
Okay.
You've got your signatures, you have the meeting minutes from the last meeting.
26th.
Correct.
Okay.
We, anybody approve the minutes from the
Make a
meeting?
motion to approve the minutes from June 26th.
I'll second that. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Everybody voted except Paul Boston. He wasn't
Thank you.
there. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Well, we gotta finish signing.
What do you gotta do?
Gotta finish signing.
Yep.
Who's holding us up there? Ron, sorry. Everybody, Ron, sorry.
You know.
Is that your pen? Ron's start with
I asked him before.
He's here for the Form A. He's gonna take the Form A.
Form A.
Oh, the things that were. I missed that enemy right there. Just turned a bushel of peaches.
That was fun, right?
Not really yet.
The plastic one gets recorded.
The apples. The apples. Don't worry, I'll give you a chunk of them.
That's great. Maybe some sugar, maybe some beach marble. That's gonna clear it.
Okay, are we all set now?
I believe so.
Okay, who wants to
Yeah.
make a
Adjourn.
motion? Second?
Second.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.